post a STEM business degree in the US. So I'm assuming a lot of you are interested in pursuing your master's education in the United States or somewhere outside of India, and are curious to understand the pathways that a STEM business degree opens up for you. If you don't know what a STEM business degree is and how it works out, we will talk about that as well very shortly. But let me bring in our panelists for today evening. So let me start with Amanda Cox, who is with the Career Services. Hi, Amanda, are you here? If you're able to turn on your video, it would be great to have you over here. So great. So Amanda is from the Professional Career Services at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign's Business School, the Geese College of Business. So we are going to talk to her very shortly. She's going to take us through a presentation and talk about the various emerging opportunities, the challenges, the support which the university provides to its students to secure job opportunities post their masters. We will also speak with Jia, who is the Associate Director of International Recruitment. So we'll bring her into the session as well very shortly. And then we will speak to the 3 alumni from Geese who are joining us on this session. So we have Jyoti, Sailesh, Shruti. These are all Indian origin alumni of the school, and we'll talk to them as well about their job hunt journey and how they secured their dream jobs post their masters at Geese College of Business. So we're going to speak to them, all of them, very shortly as well. Before we get into the presentations, what I first want to do is run our polls for the evening. So I'm going to launch the polls right now. So if you're able to hear me, the polls are live on your screen right now. The question in front of you is, firstly, are you planning to pursue your master's or postgraduate education in the US? If it's a yes, if you are looking to pursue it in the US, then click yes. If you're no, then that's the second option. If you're undecided, unsure, then that's the third option. This gives us a great feel on where you stand and what your aspirations are. Our second poll question for the evening, which is live on your screen right now, it is about what you find most intimidating about taking this initiative, about pursuing your dream of studying in the US. What do you find most scary about that? So the options being making your application. So do you find making the application most scary? Is it the uncertainty about career prospects, the H-1B visa, the job and process that scares you? If that's the thing, then that's second option. If it's arranging the transcripts, the documentation, the mark sheets, if that's your scary part, then that's the third option. If you are scared about getting a good GRE score, IELTS or a TOEFL score, then that's your next option. If it's funding and financing that scares you, then that's the next option. If it's something else that scares you beyond these 5 factors, then that's your sixth option. So let us know, firstly, if you're interested in pursuing your master's in the US. Secondly, if you are, then what do you find most intimidating about taking this initiative? I'm going to keep this poll live for another few seconds. I have around 75 responses, around 270 people in the room already. So I would want to see more of you respond and participate in this poll. So I'm going to keep this poll open for another 20 seconds. So if you haven't yet responded, please do so. Please let us know where you stand. Firstly, on your stance about pursuing a master's in the US. Secondly, what do you find most scary about making this move? Great. So I have around 85 responses. Hopefully, I'll touch 100 responses very shortly. So if you haven't yet responded to this poll, please do so. I'm going to keep this open for another 5 seconds. Please do respond to the poll and let us know where you stand. Great. So I have very close to 100 responses now. So I'm going to end this poll now and share the results as well. Great. So we ended up getting 99 responses. So just very close to 100, the target. So around 66% of you, 2/3 of you are looking to pursue your master's in the US. Around 23% are unsure, possibly because they're scared of some or the other factor. Only 11% are a no as of now. Hopefully your mind changes after going through this presentation and this interaction as well. The factor that people find most intimidating, the topmost factor is funding and financing. Okay, fair. The second most scary factor is the uncertainty about career prospects, the H-1B visa, the whole uncertainty or volatility in the job market currently, possibly that. Then it's making the application, getting a good GRE score, arranging transcripts and something else, and so on and so forth. So great. So today's session is going to be particularly relevant for people who are scared about the job market, the volatility. We have been hearing about a lot of volatility in the market over there. We have been hearing about layoffs from top tech companies in the US. So this session is particularly apt for that, for us to understand what's happening in the job market and what are the resources that a university like University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign makes available to its master's students to crack this uncertain and volatile job market. So let's start with this session and interact with Amanda first to go through her presentation about the resources, the support which the university provides their students. And then we'll talk about the job market and talk to the alumni as well about how they secured their dream job post their master's education. Over to you, Amanda.
Good morning, everyone. Like Sanjay mentioned, my name is Amanda Cox, and I am an Associate Director of Career Advising here in our Office of Career and Professional Development at the Gies College of Business. So welcome everyone to the session. Today I'm going to provide some career insights to you on what students do who exit our graduate programs. So all of our programs, from accounting to management to finance, really offer opportunities to explore different types of business functions, learn critical problem-solving skills, and gain that real-world leadership experience that employers are looking for after graduation. And so you're going to graduate prepared to add value to your career and build upon your experiences that you've already encountered. So how does the Gies College of Business help support students and set them up for success? Is one of the things that we'll talk about today. One of those things is the Gies Professional Pathway. And so we know that there are certain skills that employers look for in candidates after graduation. And those skills are really important and tied around your purpose, people skills, professionalism that you have. And so we really want to work with you to identify how can you increase your self-awareness of the skills that you currently have? How can we empower you to develop more skills to be even more competitive in the workforce and the job market today? And then how do you communicate that value to employers and effectively do that in a great storytelling way? And so that's definitely one of the things that our office provides assistance with and can help you with. So when thinking about the skills that employers are looking for in recent college grads, we have some listed up here from our Gies Professional Pathways. And so we really want to help you with the self-exploration, being able to identify those things that you're naturally talented at, and that career development piece, developing your career through professional development, learning opportunities, networking opportunities. There are many, many different opportunities to become involved on campus and seek out networking. So what do we do in the Office of Career and Professional Development to help you prepare for all of these things? And so one thing we offer is one-on-one career advising. And so I myself am a career advisor. We have a whole team of people who can meet with you to discuss your goals, the things that you want to pursue after graduation, and really help you plan and create that plan for what does that look like for you as an individual and what support might you need along the way. We also provide assistance with resume and cover letter reviews, and so bringing those in and getting help with that. In addition, we have practice interviews, and so those take place virtually as well as in person here within our office. So you can practice in a variety of modes that you may also be involved in your interview setting as well. We also offer help with career fair preparation, and so there are a lot of career fairs that happen on campus and also virtually that you have the opportunity to participate in. We also have employer showcases where we bring employers to campus, and we have them right here in the atrium of our building for you all to interact with and network with. We also do, if any of you are interested in the field of consulting, we also do case interview preparation. And so that's one of the things that we have in our office as well. So if you're looking at a profession that requires a case interview, know that we're here to help you to prepare for that too. We can also talk about job search strategies. Of course, we all love talking about offer negotiation. So when you all get your offers, it's one of my favorite things to talk to students who come into the office who have an offer and want to talk about just the offer itself and what that means for that person. And then networking strategies. So what are those strategies that you're going to utilize to build connections with employers, with fellow alumni, with participants who are in your program as well? So with all of that being said, we're going to talk about and transition now to some graduate career insights for our programs here at Gies College of Business. And so as you think about all of our programs, and we're going to go through each one of them individually, all of them really offer opportunities to explore different business functions and explore different industries. And so as you look at this industries list, this is just a sample of some of the industries where students have gone in our programs in the past. One of the things that we are really proud of here is that we do keep really great track of our graduate outcomes of where students land as their first destination after they finish their program here at Illinois. And so those slides that are coming next represent the data that we have from actual students who are in programs that you're interested in and what they've decided to pursue as far as their industry and their job title. So as you think about MSM, many students pursue an MSM degree to build upon like their liberal arts background or social science background. And so regardless of what background you have, these are some potential industries that you might be interested in pursuing if you were in the MSM program. And then some sample job titles as well. And so really developing those business skills. We also have the Masters of Science in Business Analytics, the MSBA program, and it really helps students develop the key skills for high demand jobs that require a really strong integration of business application, area expertise such as finance, information systems, accountancy, data science. And so a lot of different skills utilized in our MSBA program. And so these are representative of some industries there on the left-hand side, and then again, some sample job titles that students have reported on the right-hand side as well. So you can see that I'm hoping you're getting the sense that there's a lot of different options and a lot of variety that you can also do with the programs here at Illinois. So the MSTM program is designed for students from a business or a technical background. The curriculum really helps elevate your management expertise as scientists and engineers, and the analytical decision-making skills that you have. And so these are some functional roles that MSTM graduates typically go into, as well as some jobs and that people typically go into as well. So our MSA program will really help prepare you for a successful career. In this program, you're really going to build your expertise in the fundamentals of accounting and really become a data-driven decision maker, which we know a lot of our organizations are looking for after graduation. And so these are some typical industries and some early roles for MSA grads coming out of the program. So you might find people in traditional accounting roles, staff accounting roles, consulting or advisory roles as well. And then if you look at the right-hand side, there's also a variety of opportunities as well in audit, tax, advisory, all of those different areas. And so just, again, hoping you get the sense that there's a lot of options, a lot of opportunities that are out there for whatever program you decide to pursue here at the Gies College of Business. So our MSF program is our Master of Science in Finance. It prepares students for the world of finance. And so students have different backgrounds who typically enter this program and different levels of expertise. These are some of the typical industries that students have gone into in the past and some of the roles that people typically take who are in our Master's of Science in Finance. And then we have our Master's of Science in Financial Engineering. It's a 3-semester STEM designated professional master's program here at the Gies College of Business. And the difference between the MSF and the MSFE program is there's greater emphasis in the quantitative techniques in this program. And so that's the difference. So typical roles for people who are in the MSFE program, and then some job titles that are there on the right-hand side. We also keep track of employers who have hired our graduate students. And so these are just some examples of employers who have hired our students in the past few years. You'll see some really big names on here. You'll see some smaller names of companies that are more startups that are exciting to work with as well. And so lots of opportunity to really work with employers here in the programs, and lots of networking opportunities to work with our employers too. Many of our employers visit campus and recruit and interview here within our office and building. Those that don't do virtual recruitment. And so there's lots of opportunities to participate either in person or virtually with our employers here on campus. And so as you think about all these programs and you think about the opportunities that they provide and you think about some of the sample job titles that are out there and the things that people are thinking about, what are some of the things that you can do to prepare for your career before you arrive on campus? And so one of the things is our Gies Professional Pathway Foundations. That's out there, it's online. You can definitely view that and start to familiarize yourself with some of those skills. Thinking about how you might want to build your connections. Maybe there's alums who are in the program who are on LinkedIn, who you could message on LinkedIn and connect with and find out more about the program even before you apply. Or after you've applied and you've decided to attend, maybe messaging them to see like, what was your transition like that first year coming to campus? What kind of tips or things would you recommend? So really building your connections and starting to do that before you even arrive on campus. It also goes along with updating your network, keeping people in your network on LinkedIn or social media. The other thing you'll have the opportunity to do is some skill assessment career exploration. So a lot of our programs do an orientation, which involves a career assessment, which really helps you identify those interests, skills, and values and how those align with different careers or industries that you might be interested in. And then finally, doing your research. And so thinking about like, what are those opportunities that are out there that you are interested in? How might you take advantage of those? Our data for our outcomes is Illini Success. A lot of that information is public on the University of Illinois website. And so you could do your research and look at that too at our graduate outcomes. Overall, I just want you to know that we are here to support you, help you along the way, anything that you might need in our Office of Career and Professional Development. So please know that we're here to support you, and it was a pleasure to meet you all today.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for that presentation. Extremely insightful. I see a lot of audience questions that have come in, and I'm sure a lot of these are directed towards you as well. We are going to come to the questions very shortly, and we are also going to interact with the alumni, understand about their journey and the pathways they followed. But before we do that, let me bring in Jia into the presentation and let her take us through the programs that, of course, Amanda has covered most of the programs over here, but what is the admission criteria? What are the deadlines? Let's hear those quickly in 2 slides, and then we'll go to the questions and the panel discussion.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully you learned the different pathways and support that we offer in Gies College of Business when you enter the graduate programs here. So as Amanda said, we have a suite of graduate programs that can offer to you to explore different business pathways. Like what I showed on the slide, accounting, finance, business analytics, financial engineering, management, technology management, those are all the on-campus programs that we are offering. And then we also offer online program to fit different professionals' need at different stage of your career. And the great thing about those programs are all of the programs are STEM designated. I often get questions from students, which one is STEM? So you don't have to remember which one is because all of them are STEM designated, even the management program. Because we really infuse data analytics in all the curriculums. So you are going to learn cutting edge kind of technologies and analytical tools to help you in the certain field that you're pursuing. So what does that mean with the STEM designation? I think our alums will explain what it means for them in terms of job search, H-1B application. So this is definitely, if you are an international student, this is a must for you to consider when you pursue a business master's degree or any master's degree, if you want to work in the United States for at least a few years to gain experience. The STEM designation really helps you to build the data analytics skill within your business function, and also offer that 24 months extension on top of your 12 months initial OPT time. So you can have more time to secure a job and enter multiple visa lotteries to, the end of the day, secure your H-1B visa to work in the United States, for at least 3 years. All right. So these are kind of a glance of all of our programs, including program lengths, the next deadline, tuition fee, reference letter, is it GRE or GMAT optional? Is there an interview? So I would, I'm not going to go into the detail of all the programs. If you're interested in any of the programs, you can kind of take a screenshot or take a picture, and then we can, if you have more questions, we can talk from there. And as I said, this is a session for our alums and Amanda to talk about their career. I'm not going to take more time to talk about the application process because for everybody, who want to apply for our program, your case is more special for you, right? We really recommend that you take a screenshot or picture for those QR code and way to connect with us. So we offer student ambassador chat to really help you understand the student life here, right? On-campus job opportunities, anything you want to know when you become a student. And then we also have a one-on-one Zoom discussion offered for you to talk with our admission advisors to really, talk about your case, right? What kind of requirements you have based on you're going to have, right? Based on your background, based on the program that you're pursuing. All right, great. All right, let me give the time to our alums and Sanjay to talk about the career search options.
Sure. Thanks, Jia. Let me bring in Shruti and Sailesh into the conversation now. Of course, there are a lot of audience questions that have come in, and there are a lot of relevant questions that are coming in. So let those questions keep coming in. I'm going to pick up the most upvoted questions to ask all of them. But let's start with a brief introduction. So Jyoti, why don't you start? Run us through what was your background before you came to University of Illinois, and then tell us what you're doing currently.
So before joining the University of Illinois, I pursued my MBA in India. It was a dual major in HR and analytics. Post that, I worked in the corporate field for about 3 years with the companies like Infosys and Wipro. I worked in the people analytics team for those 3 years. And I joined the Geese College of Business in Jan 2022, exactly a year, and graduated by December 2022. Right now, I'm working as a data scientist at Kellogg's.
Interesting. I will have a lot of questions for you very shortly, but let's also do Shruti and Sailesh's introduction. So Shruti, if you want to go next.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Shruti Gaikwad. I currently work as a technology consultant at Ernst & Young, EY. Before that, I have a background in IT engineering, and I did my master's in technology management, that is MSTM. I did not have prior experience back in India before coming to my master's program. So this job is my first job that I'm doing, and I'm really liking it so far. And I'm currently based out of Chicago, Illinois, if that helps.
All right.
Yep.
Sailesh?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sailesh Kanchi. I did my engineering in computer science back in 2014, and I joined Accenture and worked there as test engineering specialist for 6+ years, during which I was mostly on the implementation side, also dealing with business analysis aspects of banking and logistics domains. So as my next step in my career, I wanted to pursue more on the product side of development. So that's when I joined MSTM in fall 2021, and I graduated in fall 2022. Right now, I'm working as principal business analyst at Fidelity Investments, based out of Boston.
All right, great. So thank you for those introductions. And my very first question and the most relevant question over here is what motivated each of you to pursue your studies at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, especially at the Geese College of Business. And Jyoti and Sailesh, in your case specifically, you had work experience, you had 3 years, and Sailesh, you had over 6 years. In your case, what motivated you to pursue a master's program instead of an MBA?
For me, it was mostly on the product side where I wanted to be. I have quite good vast experience in terms of work and everything. So for me, the requirement was much more narrower compared to what MBA has to offer. It made sense when I looked at University of Illinois, especially Geese, and the entire curriculum that was out there. So it kind of fit into what I wanted, and that's when I made my choice to pursue masters at Geese.
Jyoti, what about you? You had a previous MBA as well from India, and you
That's
decided
right.
to go for masters. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I used to work in the HR analytics space, as I mentioned previously, and statistics and predictive analytics were my all-time favorite subjects. So when I was implementing some advanced analytical projects in my workplace, I realized that I lack the technical capabilities, the complex technical capabilities. So I looked for a course which goes in depth into the technical aspects of analytics, as well as covering all the business aspects related to the data analytics. And I wanted it to be completed within a short span of time because I already had an MBA and work experience as well, which is why I chose MSBA at Geese.
Makes sense. Shruti, what were your motivations?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did not have prior work experience, so MBA was out of question because for MBA, I think you require work experience. And since I had a background in IT engineering, I was sound and I had technical skills, but I wanted to get to know more about the manager skills and the business aspect of the industry. That is when MSTM sounded correct to me because it was a perfect blend of both those things. I was able to use my skills that I learned during engineering and combine them with the business skills that MSTM provided to me. So that was a very clear choice for me getting into MSTM at Geese College of Business.
Okay. So I'm going to jump into audience questions very shortly, but one last question which I want to ask before I do that is how were your experiences? So Shruti you came with 0 work experience. Jyoti, you had around 3 years and a previous MBA. Sailesh, you had around 6.5 years of experience. And possibly while different years and different batches, you broadly studied with similar cohorts or similar profile of cohorts as such. How were your experiences different from each other? That's what I'm trying to understand. So why don't you take us through your experience, and that would give a great insight to the audience as well.
So if you ask me, like I and Shruti, we both belong to same cohort. In fact, we both worked on same subjects on same team. So you could see that, right? I mean, she is someone who is new. I'm someone who has experience. But the best thing here of the blend is that I bring some experience to the team, while she brings a new set of eyes, which is very much required, to sometimes go out of the box and think and work on it. So there are people who range from 0 experience to having 10+ years of experience, because some of my cohort people, they had like 10+ years of experience and they were managers already. So I had something to learn from there, and I had something to learn from Shruti, and I have something to offer to the team. I mean, to entire students as well. So the blend really helps you a lot, and it kind of made much easier for me to grasp from we call the best of the both worlds, right? So that is the kind of situation where I was in. So it was really glad.
Shruti, any counter view to this experience?
I mean, I wouldn't counter view. I think Sailesh stole the words from my mouth because, getting a perspective of someone who's worked in the industry really helped me to understand, how to communicate, how to put forth their ideas in a team, how to take into consideration other people's views, and, resolve conflict. So all these values or skills were learned when people from different backgrounds as well as having different work experience come together. And as Shailesh mentioned, we were in a team together for a course named New Product Development. And it was really great working with him because, as he mentioned, he has a vast experience and he brought out I feel he brought out the agile and the scrum aspect that was necessary in the project. And yeah, I think it's a good blend of everything.
Right. Interesting. So Jyoti, I'm going to come to you shortly and come up with more questions. But before we move ahead, right, I think there's a fundamental question which has come up with from some audiences. Is the difference between a STEM designated business degree and a regular business degree? So Amanda, if you want to talk about what is the advantage of a STEM designated business degree and how it works out when it comes to job hunts and H-1B visa lottery and all of that.
Absolutely. So the STEM business degree gives you additional time after graduation to pursue opportunities here within the US. And so that to me is the biggest difference and selling point of the program, is that it gives you that additional time to pursue after graduation. And so I think that's an important piece. It's also something employers look at, like specialized skills is something they look at as well, because that gives them the green light for sponsorship, right? And so I think those two things kind of come together hand in hand.
All right. And if I understand this correctly, the advantage of a STEM degree is the 3-year OPT. So I think these are confusing terms for a lot of people over here, including myself, the OPT and CPT and how it works out. So if Amanda, if you can throw some light on that as well, that would be really helpful.
Sure. So it's essentially the designation that the government gives you in order to work within the US after graduation or while you're in the program. And so while you're in the program, you have the option to do some practical training, such as an internship and things like that. And so like that would be one piece of it. And then the other piece is for after graduation, providing you that time to look for employment here within the US after graduation. We do have an Office of International Student Services and Scholars here on campus. And so that office is responsible for helping you with all of your paperwork and documents that you need in order to apply for OPT after graduation. And so we provide a lot of support around that as well.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. So I'm going to start jumping into audience questions over here. And what the theme that I'm seeing over here is, how did you go ahead with the job search process, right? So Jyoti, starting with you, how did you crack your dream job, and what resources that you leverage from the university to make that possible?
So everyone knows that the current job market in the US is very competitive, right? I generally use Instagram and WhatsApp a lot, but during my job search period, the screen time was the highest only for LinkedIn. I believe LinkedIn is a quagmire of opportunities, and each of you will definitely have one or more opportunities exactly matching the candidature. So the trick would be to spot them at the right time and reach out to the concerned hiring manager with the resume. In the US specifically, I observed that 2 hiring sources would work wonders. One is employee referrals, and the other is the job portals. And when I talk about job portals, it's specifically LinkedIn for me. My focus was on LinkedIn, and I rigorously applied to as many open positions as possible in data science. So there was this position for data science at Kellogg's, and when it opened up within hours, I reached out to the hiring manager. I asked for her time and asked if we can have a discussion about my skill set, about the role, and my passion in people analytics. So that's how she gave me an opportunity to learn more about my skill set, and she arranged for an interview call. So that's how it worked out for me. But most of my batchmates also say that LinkedIn is the avenue for the job search right now.
All right. And Shruti, what about you? Sailesh, what about you? And what resources from the university did you use? So I understand a lot of one-to-one counseling is offered by the university's career services. There are, of course, other resources on resume building, how to make a great resume, how to prepare a cover letter. So any of the resources that you used particularly?
So contrary to Jyoti's experience, I was able to bag my job by applying through the company-specific career portals. I mean, my job search was a blend of LinkedIn applications as well as going through the individual career portals and then applying for it. As far as utilizing the professional development services that GEES has to offer, the Amanda covered it completely. The first step that you do is convert your resume into a US specific standard format, and then you can go ahead and have a one-on-one session with the professionals to review and make changes to the resume. Followed by that, there are various sessions which help you in understanding how to build your elevator pitch, what strategies to use while giving your behavioral interviews. Those sessions also helped a lot. And then specifically in my case, my role is a role of technology consultant. So I had a case interview. So GEES professional services offers a chance to have one-on-one interview sessions with peers who already have experience or are working in consulting firms. So this helps in getting, a lot of constructive criticism or feedback on where you can get better, and they themselves provide certain resources that we can utilize to, prep well for the job search. I think those were the main resources that I utilized, and they clearly helped me out in getting the job.
Sailesh, you came with higher WorkX, higher than I think the cohort average possibly. How was your journey different from possibly someone with lower WorkX?
If you ask me, your job search starts even before you enter US. So one of the things what I found really useful was, GEES offers you this exercises which you do it before you enter US, wherein you join your teams and you connect with your peers and everyone. And by end of it, they already provide you with an option to, shape your resume as to what is expected. And also you go through a number of iterations of it. So once you come here, the second part is, sit with your peers, talk to them, understand what they are thinking, where you are heading. Try to compare what is that you can do, and especially for the job profile that you are looking for. Go to LinkedIn, read the job description, match your profile, see where it stands, and see the drawbacks wherever there are some drawbacks that are there. So try to cover that and go and talk to the career services. I will definitely suggest you to go and talk to the career services because that's how I shape my resume at the end of the day. I don't remember, I cannot even count like how many times I went and talked to them whether this is correct. I mean, even for a single word on the resume, I was like, does this suit to this particular context? So that is what you should do. And the next best thing is if you find someone who is on the same sync with you, sit with them, maybe do one-on-one interviews, be honest, identify the job role that you are applying for. If they are in sync with you, sit with them and do one-on-one interviews. And at career services as well, they do offer these interviews, mock interviews and simulations and everything. So I would definitely suggest to make use of those because those are the things that will come in handy when you actually go for an interview. In addition to that, you also have this negotiation aspects, which you can learn. I mean, to begin with, most of us, we don't have that kind of experience where we go and negotiate to get a better deal. So that aspect, if you want to improve, definitely I would suggest go and talk to the career services and also take inputs from your peers. That really helps because with you, your peers are applying as well. So they know as much as you know, and they might know something else which you don't, and you might know something they don't. So sharing of information is very, very important in this context. So that is one thing which I really did. I sat with my one of my friends. We had this thing where we sit every alternate day. We do some job simulations. We pose questions to each other. And one of the things is you have to be honest and punctual, and persist. You need to persist throughout the process. You should not give up anytime. So that will help you to land a job. And this works for everyone. It doesn't matter what your experience is. It works for everyone. So I would definitely suggest you all to do that.
That's great advice, Shailesh. Really helpful. So all three of you, each of you graduated in 2022 during the last 6 months, and the market has been very volatile. And the news that we hear sitting in India is that, hey, Meta laid off 12,000 people, this company laid off these many people, Amazon is laying off so many people. How scary is the job market in reality? You guys managed to find opportunities for yourself during these last 6 months itself. So how much truth is it to the scary news that we're getting? How volatile is the market? And if it is really volatile, how do you convince a recruiter to sponsor your H-1B or give you a chance?
The market for sure is definitely volatile. And in my situation, I landed a job at one of the big four, and it went to negotiation aspects. And at that point in time, it kind of got rescinded. I mean, it did not get rescinded, but I did not get the offer letter at the end of the day. So that was one of the issues. So I had to start from zero again. I landed a job. I was ready to go and join, but at the end of the day, I didn't get the offer letter. So I had to start from zero again. So there will be certain such situations which will come your way. So one of the things is like I said earlier, you need to persist. I mean, even if you have an offer in hand, it doesn't mean that you have to stop there. So you need to keep on persisting. At the same time, it will not be correct if I say I was not afraid, because that part was there. But even then, one of the things is like, if you keep harping on to I'm being afraid, I may not be able to land the job or something like that, that's not going to help you. So play to your strengths. What are your strengths? Go by that and look for opportunities that play to your strengths. So that is really, really important. I mean, yes, there will be time where you can apply for something new, try to pivot from where you are and what you want to do. But in such situations, it is really important that you play to your strengths.
That's fair. Hiba, I hope this answers your question. So this was a question which was asked by Hiba Khan, very similar to what I asked you. So Hiba, I hope this answers your question. Amanda, I want to bring you into one aspect over here. There's a perception in India that US is a study destination for engineers from India. If you're a commerce graduate with 3 years of undergrad education, and if you're not someone with a tech background or looking for a career in tech, then a master's program in the US is possibly a no-go for you. So I want to really break this myth and check with you, what are the opportunities that open up for people with a non-tech background if they want to pursue a master's in the US? And this is also a similar question, which is the most awaited question right now, asked by Harsh. He's asking about opportunities in the commerce field in the US.
I think I meet with a lot of students from across all of our graduate programs, and some of those people have tech backgrounds and some of them don't. And I think that there are ample opportunities related to, different industries searching employers out there who are interested in STEM and people with non-technical backgrounds, right? And so I think with our programs, it really gives you the opportunity to build those skills that I mentioned before in the GEIS professional pathways. So you're really thinking about your career development. What do you do well? What are you really talented at? How can you communicate that to an employer? And so by the time you're finished with your program, or even during your program when you're searching, you have this package put together of who you are, what your interests are, what you want to do, and then presenting that to employers in a way that showcases all your talents, skills, and expertise. And so that, regardless of your background, whether you have an engineering background or you don't have an engineering background, it matters and it's important to employers. And employers are looking for skills across the spectrum, not just those technical skills. And so definitely keep that in mind. We hear from employers all the time that leadership, teamwork, communication, those are all really important skills, and they're not tied to a specific technical background.
Perfect. So I hope this answers your question, Harsh, and also gives confidence to others who come from a non-engineering background that there are enough opportunities even for non-engineers to pursue a master's in the US. and GEES can be a great option for that. Amanda, there are some questions coming in around, these are profile-specific questions, average salary bands for various programs, the highest means. So any employment report or any web link that they can go and find this information?
Yes, so I can put a web link in the chat. I did pull up the website because I saw this question appear earlier. And so there are career outcomes on all of our graduate program pages on our website. And so I have one pulled up for MSM because that was the first program I came to, but know that they exist for all of our programs. But I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat.
Sure. So Rohit, to your question about your average salaries for a program, I would say check out that program specific website. There's a lot of information over there and everything is provided over there. I think we are close to time. We still have 10 more minutes to go in this session. So I'm going to pick up the most relevant questions to ask. So a request to the audience, my request would be go through the questions which have already been asked and upvote a question that you think is the most relevant for you as well. That tells me that question is relevant for more people and I can pick up the most relevant questions to ask the panelists and ask Amanda as well over here. Madhulika, okay, so since I don't yet have the upvoted questions, Madhulika, I'm going to pick up your question now. It's around placements. How does the placement process work? Is there really such thing as placements? Forget about GEES, but at any US business school or US university as such. So I understand that the process is different. But Shruti, Jyoti, Sailesh, if you want to talk about how's the process different, especially from what we see at undergrad institutions or institutions in India versus what you experienced at GEES. So, okay, let me start with Jyoti. Since you have had an MBA in India, I understand you have gone through a master's level placement process in India already. So what did you notice was different between the process you saw in India and what you followed at GEES?
Mm-hmm. So in India, everything happens through campus placement, right? Companies come to the college and they recruit the candidates. But in the US, that's not the case. However, at UIUC, we do have the recruitment events, the campus hiring events. We had, I think, 3 events in the span of 6 months in my last semester. And there were good employees named Caterpillar, Deloitte, Capgemini, Cognizant, all these employees hiring for the IT tech related roles, the data scientists, business analysts, the product managers, etc. Now, the way to crack these campus hiring jobs is to have a resume and an elevator pitch ready, as Shruti mentioned already. So the career services at GEES help us reviewing our resumes and have different sets of resumes for different roles, right? Like if I'm looking at applying to a data scientist role and a data engineer role, since I have knowledge in these 2 fields, I'll have 2 resumes for these 2 jobs. And GEES will help us for that because there should be proper action verbs and tools listed on the resume so that it goes through the ATS of the company. On the D-Day of the campus hiring event, we go talk to the recruiter, give our elevator pitch, hand out our resume. And if he or she finds our resume valuable to their opening, they do mark it as probable candidate for the job. So that's how a few people crack the jobs from the campus interviews as well. This is something which is not available in all the other colleges. It's specific to UIUC, GEES. Apart from this, employee referrals do work a lot. Like unlike India, employee referrals might or might not work, but here people will definitely look at the profile. If you refer a candidate, they'll at least arrange for an interview. Having said that, I think Jia already mentioned that in the previous conversation, the research park on the campus. Research park has different companies ranging from they have Caterpillar, they have companies which focus on the medical diagnosis, biology, the science solutions, data science, so different fields, right? And they do have openings around the year, for which they come to the campuses and hire. Research Park is on the campus and you can work without an OPT. So as soon as you join the GIS, you can start working in the Research Park if you crack a job in the Research Park. So for that, the career services at GIS would be very helpful. So to point out a professor, we had a Professor Matthias. He was our career coach, and the way he explained how to deal with intricate questions related to sponsorship or how to network and follow up was amazing, because he was himself an international student once. So all this plays a big role when it comes to the D-Day of campus recruitment or an employee referral or a follow-up for the network.
All right, great. So that's extremely relevant. Sailesh, Shruti, any perspective on? So it's scary time, right? A lot of people are scared about finding the right opportunity. Do you have any advice for people who are considering pursuing a master's program in 2023? So are you seeing any industry trends or any green shoots as such, which through which you'd possibly recommend or not recommend someone to start their master's program in 2023?
If you ask me, 2023 is really good because if you go back to the history, 2008 was really bad. But as time progressed, 2009, 2010, you could see the graph going up. So I expect the similar situation to take place as well, because if you start your master's in 2023, you'll graduate by 2024, by which, God forbid, but something untowards happen, then that's a really, it's a long shot. But the things are really looking good. If you're looking at US market, yes, there has been a big talk about downsizing and everything. But at the same time, if you look at the current statistics, it would tell you that it is not as bad as 2008. And at the same time, there is a big hiring that is going on at the same time. So you need to look for the roles, what the industry is demanding, because you might have certain skills, but industry demand is something else. So you need to pivot to those skills and also have to develop those skills for yourself. And maybe this is the time by pursuing masters, you can do that pivot. So the opportunities are there. Please don't think that there are no opportunities. The opportunities are there. But the thing is, whether your skills match the demand of the industry or not is what the question is. So if it matches, then you have a perfect place where you should be.
That makes sense. And having lived through the 2008 recession, I would vouch for this. Usually that 1 year is bad, but then your things go down suddenly, and then suddenly they come up as well. So it's usually a V curve kind of thing. Things go down and then start moving up again, and then the opportunities open up. So if those of you who are old enough to have lived through that or seen the employment statistics during around that time, 2011, 12, 13, 14, these were some really great years to graduate. And possibly it is said that market volatility is a good time to go study, upskill yourself, and come back into the market when things are looking up again. So possibly 2023 or 2024 could be a great year for you to start your master's education as well. There have been a lot of questions around average salary brackets for various programs, and this, I think I've already answered this, and Amanda has posted a link in the chat box that is for career outcomes for the MSM program, but you can go to the respective program websites as well for the other programs and look at what the average salaries, what were the base, the upper graduate salaries, and what were the companies recruiting for those particular specialized fields. You can see those on the program website as well. So please do that. Shruti, Jyoti, Sailesh, there have been some requests about people wanting to connect with you on LinkedIn and ask you some more personalized questions. Would that be all right? Are you okay with them reaching out to you on LinkedIn?
Sure, would be glad to help.
All right. Great. So those are
Sorry, I was just going to ask, should we post the LinkedIn profile link in the chat?
If you are comfortable, please do that. And I would allow you a second to do that while I take up a question for Amanda as well. Amanda, okay. This is question around approaching recruiters, right? And again, your questions come up around this quite often. Is that how do you how does GEES, and you did touch upon this in your presentation, so there's one-on-one counseling that happens, there's resume feedback that happens, there are keyword searches that happen. Any other resources that prospective students can use right now to prepare themselves and be ready for the job market in the US? So it's possibly a year or so, or maybe longer before they come into the US and enroll in a program. But anything that they can use right now to start preparing for this future journey.
Absolutely. I think looking at the resources that are available on our website, we have lots of sample resumes, sample cover letters. We have how to create your elevator pitch. If you get really ambitious before you come to campus, you could have all those things put together and then come and meet with us when you arrive on campus and get feedback on those items and be, a head start on getting those things together. And so I think those are really valuable tools that are out there that anyone can just use on our website as far as examples, what your resume should look like in the US, and all those types of things. And I think too, like all the alumni have mentioned, like networking is just so important. And so if there's anything I could also tell you to practice, it's your conversation that you have with people on a day-to-day basis who you don't know. So introduce yourself to someone who you are unfamiliar with in your home country, right? Have a conversation, practice that networking so it gets really familiar and comfortable so that when you come, you're able to do that really effectively.
All right, so that's great advice and that's great tip to the audience. There are a lot of resources publicly available on the University of Illinois website as well. Go check them out. Maybe some of those can be used and you can start preparing for your journey right away. As Amanda said, your communication skills play an important role as well. So start networking, start practicing having those conversations right now. And by the time you get to the States a couple of years or maybe this year itself, you'll be better prepared to crack the job market. At this point, let me take up one last question. And I want to bring in Jia into the conversation over here. Jia, this is a question around funding and financing the program. So we saw from the feedback, the initial poll that we ran, a lot of people besides the job market are concerned about funding and financing their program. So if you can tell them about the resources that GEES provides to these students to fund their program, and how can someone coming from a developing country like India really afford to study at GEES?
Yes, definitely. We got a lot of this question from a lot of applicants. So there are different sources of funding that you can consider. First, definitely your personal funding, right? Your saving, your parents or relatives can help sponsor part of your education. And also all of our programs, all of our master's programs offer scholarships for students who are outstanding, who need the additional funding, or who can add diversity into our program. So typically that will cover part, that may cover part of your education expenses. Usually the scholarship amount is from $5,000 to $15,000. So definitely it's, well, at least for our case, it's not going to be full tuition waiver. It's part of your tuition and fee. And another great source is on-campus job. So, after you're enrolled in the program, you'll receive a lot of emails from the program asking if you're interested in different job opportunities on campus. I will take Joyce's word when she was a campus ambassador. She told me all of her classmates got on-campus jobs if they want to. Yeah, you could be a course assistant, help grading for our online program. You could work in our graduate student office. And then you could just take, some other lighter kind of responsibilities working in the dining hall. And Joyce said you can kind of take internship positions in our research park while you are being a full-time student. So this is possible because our research park, sometimes can have a kind of arrangement with our campus, and then your internship with the research park is considered as a on-campus job. So that will fund part of your education. Definitely, there's also international student loans. There are different companies that offer the international student loans. We've seen students leverage that resource as well. Because, right, after you get a job, graduating from one of our master's program, hopefully if you land a job in the United States or anywhere else in the world, our degree and the Geese brand will definitely help you to get a great job with a great salary. So you can kind of earn that initial investment back pretty quickly. And then the Geese brand and the skills you gained from your master's degree will help you kind of carry on to your whole professional career and help you kind of get the salary increase, right? You have to network to get your next great job. So definitely this is a investment for your long-term success in your career.
Great, thanks, Jia. That's great advice. So there are a lot of resources still available. As Jia mentioned, there's of course family and funding that you can look at. There are of course companies within India and outside of India which give funding. There are research assistantships. Those opportunities open up. My advice would be to check out the websites. Go through the website carefully. There are merit scholarships. There are of course these graduate research assignments. There's external funding which is available. So do your research. There are a lot of opportunities out there. Jia, my last question, and we are exceeding the time over here. The question I have is, are you still accepting applications for the 2023 intake? And if you are, then what are the deadlines?
Yes, definitely. We are still accepting applicants for fall or summer 2023 cohort. It depends on the program start date. Let me share the screen. Hold on, just 1 minute, 1 second. So if you didn't see my screen previously, I will, hopefully you can, yeah, you can see it here. So our next deadline is sometime in March. You know, for accounting, finance, it's kind of mid-March. And then for business analytics and management programs is the end of March. So this is the kind of the deadline for students, international students that are located outside of the United States. So if you're an international student, you're currently not in the United States, that's the deadline for you, because we want to make sure that when you get an offer, you have enough time to secure your student visa, to attend the visa interview, and then to prepare to arrive on campus on time. So you can take a screenshot or take a picture of the screen. Definitely, you still have a lot of time to prepare for your application.
Great. So, sorry, I am not sure if I'm able to see. Okay. So a lot of deadlines in March. So to the audience, if you're still looking at the 2023 intake, a lot of deadlines in March. So starting from mid-March all the way till end March. Some of the programs are GMAT optional, GMAT GRE optional. For some of them, especially the Masters of Finance and Financial Engineering, I understand it's GMAT mandatory. And Jia, if I'm correct, if I'm getting this correct, those from India who have pursued their undergraduate education in English, given all the exams in English, they can also request for IELTS and TOEFL waiver. Would that be possible?
So for IELTS and TOEFL waiver, it only works for students who who gain a degree in a country that has the English as a primary language. So if you are in India, you complete a degree in India, or will complete a degree in India, no matter of your way of instruction, you have to submit your TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. We still accept the Duolingo this year. It will be it's a kind of an easier and quicker option for you to kind of get that language clear. I'm sure everybody will do well if you took all of your courses in English. It will be pretty easy for you.
Perfect. So great. So I think we have enough insights over here, and we have run over time. So I want to wrap up this session. To the audience, one thing which I want to highlight and point out to you right now is a lot of resources have been put in the chat box as well. So Amanda and Jia have posted the links to the career outcomes for a lot of different programs. There's career outcomes for MSTM program, the MSF program. And as they said, you can go to the website, look at the program website, and find career outcomes over there as well. Jyoti, Shruti, and Sailesh have also posted their LinkedIn profile links in the chat window. So if you're looking to connect with any of them, do so one-on-one, ping them on LinkedIn. And as they said, LinkedIn is a great resource to leverage. Use that, start practicing right now, reach out to them and get their inputs and get answers to your personal questions as well. And with that, I want to wrap up this session saying that, hey, there's still time for the 2023 intake. So there's still University of Illinois is still accepting, the Geeks College of Business is still accepting applications till March for various programs. So start your application now, get started, make a great application, and you'd possibly be at Geeks later in the year, this year itself. So with that, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Jia. Thank you, Shruti, Jyoti, and Sailesh. Thank you for taking out the time to do this session. I can vouch for the audience interest. There were still around 250 people in this room. We touched a high of around 400 and possibly hundreds more joined and left in between for some reason or the other. So this session has been extremely insightful. Thank you for doing this session for the audience. I'm sure they'll find this useful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
taking out the time. Have a great day, all of you. Take care. Bye-bye.